8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. 1,220 suspects have been arrested in connection with the 9th May violent activities, including burning houses, vehicles, assaulting and murder charges. SLBC parliamentarian Roshan Ranasinghe stressed that the parliamentarians and other stakeholders should extend their fullest support to the efforts taken by the Prime Minister. Power cut schedule from 22nd May to the 1st of June announced. MP Nama Rajapaksa leaves the CID after recording 4-hour-long statement. A meeting between the UNICEF representatives and the opposition leader was held this morning at the opposition leader's office, focusing on helping children at this juncture. Litro asked to distribute 60% of LP gas cylinders in the highly populated areas. In news overseas, North Korea fighting COVID with traditional medicine. And in sports news, Edith Ho, Newcastle manager, aware of criticism of 2022-23 third kit. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the local news. The police media spokesman, SSP Nihal Taldua, said 1,220 suspects have been arrested in connection with the 9th May violent activities, including burning houses, vehicles, assaulting and murder charges, out of which 540 persons have been released on bail and 526 suspects have been kept in remand custody. The person injured from Kuliapita during the violent activities has succumbed to injuries yesterday. The political party, popular for these type of violent activities, has pre-planned these brutal attacks on the houses a few days ago by collecting fuel in cans and plastic cans. The analysts say that this is one important reason for fuel shortage. The fuel and kerosene oil used for burning houses could be shared with the poor people desperately looking for fuel for a living, the analysts say. SLBC parliamentarian Nama Rajapaksa has left the CID after giving a nearly 4-hour-long statement regarding the incidents at Golface and Kollipitia on the 9th of May. The Criminal Investigation Department has summoned the MP to record a statement from him with regard to the unrest that unfolded on the 9th of May. He left the CID after being questioned for around 4 hours, other than a reporter said. Statements were obtained from MP Pavitra Vanyarachi, her husband Kanchana Jayaratna and MP Indika Anuruddha yesterday. The CID has recorded statements from them for over 5 hours. Meanwhile, MPs Rohita Abegunawardena, C.B. Ratnayaka and Sanjeeva Edirimana, as well as senior DIG in charge of the Western Province, Deshabandhu Thenakon, have also recorded statements with the CID. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has announced the electricity demand management schedule from the 22nd of May to the 1st of June to facilitate the GC ordinary level examination. Accordingly, the regulator said there will be no power cuts on Sundays, thus the 22nd of May and 29th of May. Also, there will be no power cuts after 6 p.m. on the other days from 22nd May to the 1st of June. However, a power cut of 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours and 15 minutes will be imposed for all zones, including those days from 12 noon to 6:30 p.m. at the times that the examinations are held, and except the industrial zone and the Colombo city limits. The industrial zones and the Colombo city limits will experience 3-hour and 3-hour power cut during these days between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. respectively. Details of the power cut schedule are available on the PECSL website and the Facebook page of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka and on the websites of the Ceylon Electricity Board. A meeting between the UNICEF representatives and the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa was held this morning at the opposition leader's office. The meeting focused on helping children during this challenging situation. The opposition leader requested the UNICEF to extend support in terms of material and financial assistance to help the children of this country to overcome their challenges. The Goldface protest is being carried out for the 42nd day today. Many groups with different motives have engaged in this protest. Different groups with various political motives are seen at this site. Although the severity has dropped sharply, there are still few groups showing their agitation for various reasons. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. 1,220 suspects have been arrested in connection with the 9th May violent activities, including burning houses, vehicles, assaulting and murder charges. SLBC parliamentarian Roshan Ranasinghe stressed that the parliamentarians and other stakeholders should extend their fuller support for the efforts taken by the Prime Minister. The power cut schedule from May 22nd to the 1st of June announced. MP Namal Rajapaksa leaves the CID after recording 4-hour-long statement. A meeting between the UNICEF representatives and the opposition leader was held this morning at the opposition leader's office, focusing on helping children at this juncture. Litro asked to distribute 60% of the LP gas cylinders in highly populated areas. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for tonight is SLBC parliamentarian Roshan Ranasinghe stressed that the parliamentarians and other stakeholders should extend their fuller support for the efforts taken by the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Mr. Roshan Ranasinghe made these remarks while making a statement in Parliament today. The international community has come forward to extend their support in various ways to Sri Lanka. The people feel free to protest because it is their right, but the protest cannot be turned into violence, damaging public properties and individual assets. Then it could be termed as a pre-planned attack with different political motives, the MP said. Mr. Ranasinghe also emphasized that the wrongdoers of the 9th May violent creators, goods and mobs will be identified and punished according to the law, he added. Meanwhile, MP Kavinda Jayawardena alleged that the inflation has gone up due to the arbitrary printing of currency notes by the government. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
The health sector points out that unnecessary gatherings should be minimized during these days. Director General of the Colombo Lady Ridgeway Hospital, Dr. S. Vijay Surya, said that if people follow the health guidelines further, a risk of recreation of another corona wave can be prevented. He requests the public to adhere to health guidelines strictly during these days. The government plans to administer the 4th dose. In the first phase, the government plans to implement the 4th dose vaccination to the age group of 60 and above. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the World News: North Korea fighting COVID with traditional medicines. Ukraine says that the giant nuclear plant can't supply Russia. Canada to ban China's Huawei and ZTE from 5G networks. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the world news. North Korea is grappling with the spread of COVID in an unvaccinated population without access to effective antiviral drugs. In early 2020, the country sealed its borders to try to insulate itself from the pandemic. Its leadership has so far rejected outside medical support. The state media observed to be recommending various traditional treatments to deal with what was referred to as fever. Ukraine has dismissed as wishful thinking Russia's plan to connect a giant Ukrainian nuclear power plant station to Russian electricity grid. Russian troops are occupying the sprawling Zaporizhzhia plant by the river in the southern Ukraine. It is Europe's biggest nuclear plant. The Ukrainian staff are still operating it, but Russia has sent its own nuclear experts to monitor their work. Russia's deputy prime minister has vowed to sell power from it to Ukraine. Canada says it will ban two of China's biggest telecom equipment makers from working on its 5G phone networks. The restrictions against Huawei and ZTE were announced by the country's industry minister on Thursday. Francois-Philippe Champagne says that the move will improve Canada's mobile internet services and protect the safety and security of Canadians. But Huawei Canada said it was disappointed by the decision, which said it was politically motivated. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. North Korea fighting COVID with traditional medicine. Ukraine says giant nuclear plant can't supply Russia. Canada to ban China's Huawei and ZTE from its 5G networks. And that was the world news. And now we move on to development news. The Committee on Public Enterprises, the SCOPE, has instructed Litro Gas to distribute 60% of its LP gas cylinders to highly populated areas like Colombo and the Gabha districts and with a limited alternative energy source. Accordingly, it was decided that 60% of the gas cylinders distributed daily would be distributed to Colombo and the Gabha districts. It has also been revealed that the gas supply would be maintained in the next 3 months through the USD 120 million received from the Indian Credit Facility. And that came to you in the segment of development news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Moving on to sports news, Newcastle manager Eddie Howe says that he is aware of the criticism of the club's proposed third kit for the next season. Photos, which BBC Sport understands to be legitimate, of the shirt have been shared widely on social media. The green and white design has been criticized because of its similarities to the Saudi Arabian national team kit. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Business news, several Indian investors based in Tamil Nadu are keen to invest in Sri Lanka as they see the current economic crisis as an opportunity, said Sri Lanka Deputy High Commissioner Dr. D. Venkateshwaran in an exclusive interview with the media. The Deputy High Commissioner said he will also talk to the major companies including pharma, motor, car component manufacturers, trade chambers to have their infrastructure and future expansions, fresh investments or value-added investments in Sri Lanka. They could start manufacturing in Sri Lanka and use the FTA as a re-export to the region, including Pakistan, and he has got positive feedback from them. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And in economic news, Sri Lanka is to bring down the foreign currency note holding of the public from $10,000 US dollars to $15,000 US dollars and will crack down on anyone holding foreign currency notes over a 3-month period. Accordingly, holders of currency notes will be given a grace period of 2 weeks, and within that period, they are expected to deposit the money in the banking system. That was the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
The weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the Sabaragamuwa and Central provinces. Several spells of showers will occur in the western and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Strong winds above 50 km per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Hampantota and Trincomalee districts. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the International Weather Forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather was observed to be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature was observed to be around 29 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 27 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be at 26 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index is 31. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. 1,220 suspects have been arrested in connection with the 9th May violent activities, including burning houses, vehicles, assaulting and murder charges. SLPP parliamentarian Roshan Ranasinghe stressed that the parliamentarians and the other stakeholders should extend their fullest support for the efforts taken by the Prime Minister. Power cut schedule from the 22nd of May to the 1st June announced. MP Nama Rajapaksa leaves the CID after recording 4-hour-long statement. A meeting between the UNICEF representatives and the opposition leader was held this morning at the opposition leader's office, focusing on helping the children at this juncture. Litro asked to distribute 60% of the gas cylinders in highly populated areas. In news overseas, North Korea fighting COVID with traditional medicines. And in sports news, Eddie Howe, Newcastle manager, aware of criticism of 2022-23 third kit. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.